Hi, John Marshall, the DrillMaster. So this is, yeah, you got it there. Balboa High School, in another, in the Team Guam exhibition, Unarmed Exhibition performance from 2017. I mentioned that that performance reminded me of the San Francisco AJROTCs that perform, and I found one, Balboa, and I didn't know that the teams were still going strong. I found videos from the early 2000s and wrote an article about them. The armed teams can't be armed. They use swing flags. I'll get to those as well. But this is an unarmed performance. This is going to be very uncomfortable for some of you. It's very, very different. This is an unarmed exhibition. It is a junior ROTC. I can assure you of that. All right, here we go.
Next up, Balboa High School, commanded by Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Dorothy Conta.
So the team is very small. They used to be a little bigger, and I'll add more of the earlier videos when I can find them. So if you're not used to this, if you've not been exposed to this kind of exhibition drill, then this is why I said it's going to be very uncomfortable for you. So all right, so let's start talking about this. And please don't make any negative comments, or if they're constructive, fine, but don't dismiss them. Don't insult them. I'm not going to, and really neither should anybody else. So there is no military flavor here at all. That's not a military uniform. So what I see here is with the calf high boots, it's quite possible. Plus the dress, and I'll speak to the male in just a minute, but with the females in the dress uniform and the boots. I'm gonna. It's just constant singing and stomping and arm movement. So really no marching whatsoever. Dancing, more or less, shuffling. But so what I see here in the uniform with this type of boot is a throwback to probably the 1950s, 60s, 70s, even into the early 80s when I was in high school. Marching bands had flag lines, all female flag lines, and they dressed pretty much like this. Now, there were variations, longer skirts or whatever, but this is more a flag line type of uniform for a marching band. And it's quite possible, and even my high school, Agua Fria High School, back during my time, I was a percussionist, then drum major my last year. So when the year before I became drum major, we went corps style, and the color guard was not dressed in this type of uniform anymore. Did something completely different. We didn't wear the old style like some of the colleges still wear the uniform that has the really, I forget what they're called, really tall fuzzy hat. That it's a part of a military uniform. We had a cadet style type uniform. Then we went to a more advanced type of uniform, like he has on. The uniform here that he's wearing is a version, an opposite version of what the girls are wearing, which it matches, it keeps the same style, and I appreciate that. But like I said, there's no military flavor here at all. But you can appreciate this for what it is. It's an exhibition drill performance. It took them a while to create. And what's interesting is that a lot of teams from, especially overseas, a lot of teams that are not, except like the Norway HMKG, His Majesty the King's Guards. A lot of their performances are excellent. They're along the same lines as what we do, but a lot of teams overseas, just like this, will march and make a formation, whatever formation it is, and then they'll perform. And then they'll march like this to a new formation, and then they'll perform. And then they'll march to a new formation, and then they'll perform. Then they'll march to another formation, and they'll perform. And it's very monotonous. It can be, if you're used to a different style of exhibition drill. If you're used to a better flow to the routine than the marching, performing, marching, performing, marching, performing, it just doesn't it doesn't work all that well at all. It tends to be a little difficult to appreciate something like that. So, like I said, please don't make any derogatory comments for the performance. It's much shorter than the usual performance, up to about 8 minutes or so. Anyway, this is something that you need to be aware of, that honestly, you if you're going to perform and then and then march, and then perform and then march, and not really have a better flow to the routine, then it's going to be less appreciated. There's going to be less effectiveness that comes across. And as I said at the beginning of the video, there's really no military flavor there whatsoever. So, since this is a type of performance, it's been around for many, many years, you still have to, as a judge, you still have to come to a performance like this, or a drill meet like this. You still have to grade using the score sheet. I don't know what the score sheets look like, and I would hope that it would be a decent score sheet, honestly, to help you be able to assign a number to a performance, to the visual performance here, which it could be difficult to do if you have a military oriented score sheet rather than a more, not being wanting to be derogatory, more dance oriented score sheet. So it's like I said, it can be uncomfortable at first when you watch something like this, but anyway, I hope my brief comments were helpful. Thank you.